Hi everybody. Today what I thought we'd take a look at is mobile credit card payments. If you provide a mobile service like a locksmith or a plumber, or you do a lot of market stalls or things like that, then it's getting increasingly difficult to get payment from customers, because particularly with emergency call-outs for say a locksmith or a plumber, they may not carry the amount of cash that's required to pay. Very often banks don't give you checkbooks anymore, so they want to pay by credit or debit card. So unless you've got a terminal like this, which until recently in the UK was the only way that you could take payments. This is a traditional chip and pin terminal. So you literally go through like you do in most shops, apart from the fact that this has a mobile broadband built in. So there's the phone signal there. So as you go out around your customers, you can take your payment by card, by chip and pin, or if you're on a market stall or something like that. Now in general that's okay, apart from the costs of the equipment, unless you're using it a lot. So what's happened is that a number of companies have started to pop up now that can allow you to take payment from your mobile phone, because most people have a smartphone. In this case, this is the iPhone 5, or an Android handset, or even something like the iPad. Now these in their own rights are quite powerful processing computers. They typically have fast internet access on them, very often now with unlimited access. So a number of companies have started to pop up with card readers that allow you to take payments on your phone. This particular one here, my choice is Payleven. In the USA, they've been out a little bit longer than they have in the UK. The main one over there, I think, is Square, but there's a couple of others, but none of them rapidly came to the UK. There's now 2 or 3. I'm not going to mention any other names at the moment, because this is mostly about the Payleven. Okay, this is the one I've chosen. Partly because I think that it's the best solution, and I'll explain that in a minute. Okay. Now, the main thing that people are going to be concerned about when they're looking at these things is the costs. With Payleven, you pay a fixed rate of 2.75% per transaction, regardless of whether that's a credit card or a debit card. There are no monthly membership fees, no terminal rental, no nothing like that. So it is purely and simply 2.75% of your transaction. If you don't take any transactions, you pay no money. With a terminal like this, what you typically pay, or what we're paying for this particular one here, is £27.50 for the terminal rental. And then, dependent on how many transactions you take and whether you've got shops which are also taking transactions, so boosting that figure, you will pay anywhere between 1.3% and 3% per transaction for a credit card, and anywhere between 10 pence and 50 pence for a debit card transaction. Now, with the rates that we're paying on this machine, bearing in mind the nearly £30 a month just for the rental alone, I worked out that with the 2.75% that you pay Payleven per transaction, that if you take anywhere under £1,200 a month, you would be cheaper with the Payleven account. This obviously varies ever so slightly on your percentage rates that you're paying for your merchant account. If you're taking over £1,200 a month, then you may well be cheaper with a dedicated machine. Okay, so let's put this to one side at the moment, because we're not talking about one of those. We're talking about Payleven. So let's have a look at doing a transaction on there. I'm going to do it on the iPhone 5 at the moment. Okay, I've masked off the details, obviously, of my card, because I don't want anyone stealing those. What I'm going to do is do a small transaction on here, just so you can see the process, and take it from there. Okay, so what we do, obviously, the first thing is start your phone up. There's the Payleven icon, so we will click on there. The first screen that you come to is the new payment screen. Here's the amount that you want to charge. Now, there is a minimum transaction of £1. Okay, so for test purposes, I'll put £1 and a penny in there. And right here it's saying please connect to the reader. This is an iPhone 5, so the headphone socket is on the bottom. Obviously on a 4 or a 4S it's at the top. So we plug the reader in. Okay, it turns the volume up for you, and it says please swipe the card. Not sure if you can see it there. So what we'll do is we'll take our card, swipe it through there. Okay, the first one came up not readable. You've got to get the speed just about right on those. There you go. Now it says it's authorizing. Please wait. That has authorized the payment. Okay, this screen now comes up. Payment accepted. There's the company name and a little bit of waffle. If the customer wants to add a tip, they can do it there. There's just some default tips put in as suggestions. Okay, but I'm going to cancel that. Here is where you would hand the phone to the customer and ask them just to sign. So there's my signature. Okay, and you can then just click the confirm, and it just finalizes that payment, and there you go. It asks if you would like a receipt. Now, it's required to give a receipt to your customers. Now that could be handwritten, it could be on part of paperwork that you already have, i.e. your invoice set, or with this what you can do is pop their email address in there, and I'll use one of mine at the moment. I'll just enter that off screen. So you can enter their email address in there and then click the send receipt. Click the send receipt button and it will send an email receipt to the customer. Thank you, a receipt has been sent. So if I just grab this, here's my okay, so up here I've got an email from Payleven, which has a very basic email here with a clickable link, which when clicked on, give it a few seconds, brings up the receipt. First of all has the company name, then down here is location that the payment was taken and the transaction details. Copy of the signature and some basic details, that's enough. If they don't have an email account, what you could do is what I've just done, is email it to yourself, and then you can print off the receipt for them. Okay, so I will just print a copy of this receipt when my iPad wakes up. So I'm just going to print one copy of that off. Now, I normally, when I'm out and about in the van, am printing invoices for the customer anyway, so I could just print a paper one off and give that to them. Okay, so here's the paper copy, company name, receipt, where it was, transaction details, signature. Okay, couldn't be much more simple than that. Now, when you're taking a payment, let's just start another one, new payment. You can add a description of it if you wish. So let's just say orange. I'll sell myself an orange. I'll sell it to myself for £1. And here is just a little camera icon which allows you to choose an existing photo or take a new one. So I've got an orange, so let's just take a photo of the orange. Okay, now what that's done is that's put a little picture of the orange there. Okay, so when we go through and process this transaction, what will appear on the receipt when the customer gets it is here under the description section. You'll get a picture of the orange, and where it says no description, that will say orange there. So if you're selling items on a market stall or something like that, and it's a little bit weird or non-memorable, then you could take a photograph and stick it in there, and that would remind the customer of what they've had. Now, so far I've shown you the transactions on an iPhone, but here's an Android phone. I've got a beta version running here of Payleven, as you'll see there it is on the home screen. So there's the payment screen. It's asking me to connect to the reader. Again, on this one, that goes in the top. It's now saying please swipe your card. It's recognised that. As I say, this is only a beta version, but it will be in the marketplace very, very shortly, so that if you've got obviously one of the higher spec Android phones, it'll work with that. I've tested it with this, it does work and take the payments. There is an app here. For the iPad, so let's click the take new payment. Same. Please connect reader. Again, just goes up in the headphone socket. So there we go. Now we can put in our transaction details and process the payment. One of the major downsides of a card swipe like this at the moment, though, is that Visa will not allow you to use swipe and sign. It must be chip and pin. So currently, at the moment, as of making this video, which is November 2012, you can only take MasterCard in this way. Speaking to Payleven a couple of days ago, they confirmed that by the end of the year, so within the next month and a half, they are launching a chip and pin reader which connects to the phone via Bluetooth. You put the payment details in the app, then the customer enters their PIN on the PIN pad, and that processes the payment. I can't talk too much more about how that works because I don't know until I get the reader, so I'll make another little video when that reader comes along, just so you can see the process for that. But at least this is a solution. At the moment, it lets you take some of the cards, if not all, and within the next couple of months there will be a fully implemented, highly secure method for taking chip and pin. Now, why did I choose Payleven over the 2 or 3 other options that are available? Basically, I thought Payleven, having the chip and pin very, very shortly, which is a better solution than what most of the other companies are using for Visa at the moment, where you have to send a text request to the customer's mobile phone, and then they have to complete the Visa payment on their mobile phone, and some people may not be keen to do that. So the chip and pin ultimately will be the very best way. But secondly, what Payleven do is they set up a merchant account for you with a company called Payleven. You then have a proper merchant account that is in your company name. So when you take a payment, what appears on the customer's credit card statement is your company name. So if you're called ABC Locksmiths, the receipts, the credit card or bank statements will show ABC Locksmiths as the seller. What a lot of the other companies are doing are they're creating an account somewhat like PayPal does. So when you do a payment, the credit card statement will first show the name of the card processor. So just imagine it was PayPal. It shows PayPal followed by a snippet of your company name. So you might have PayPal followed by ABC Lock. So the other companies are doing the same. So it'll be the name of the card processor followed by an abbreviation of your company name. What one of them is doing, and I have tried it, is they are just using their card processor name, whatever their company name is, as the processor, and that appears on the statement. Now this could potentially cause confusion with your customers, and you could possibly get chargebacks for that, which you will be liable for. At least if it's your company name, they've got more chance of remembering who they spent the money with. One of the other reasons that I felt that Payleven was a good option was I emailed a few of the companies prior to signing up, and I either got no responses back or I got generic responses. Payleven I communicated with in 3 ways: on Facebook, on Twitter, and over the phone. And each and every time I got a personalised response. I got what I consider to be knowledgeable and accurate responses, so it made me feel that I was being dealt with correctly, that they were actually reading my request and they were responding to them in the correct way. So it made me feel that, you know, if I have a problem in the future, Payleven are going to handle my request properly, rather than just sending me a generic response which won't help me. Now, we've seen the process of taking a payment, but obviously it's nice if you can see what your sales history is, what payments you've taken. Now, all of the apps, the iPad app, the iPhone app, and the Android app all have a basic sales history function. So if we just refresh this, there's the transaction that we've just done at 10:58 on Saturday the 10th for £1 and a penny. We can click in there and it will show you a little bit more details, the last 4 digits of the card. You can resend the email receipt if you wish, or you can print it off from there for your purposes, the card ending and the ID numbers. Again, you know, here's the other transactions that have been done so far. If it was rejected, it will say rejected. So that's all very nice. They also have slightly more advanced website, which I'll just log into now and just show you briefly. Okay, so this is their website. What we have here first of all is the recent payments that you've taken. So there we are. What it will be after the fees. So I've taken 4 payments totaling £5.11. I will receive £4.97 of it, and below there is a list of the transactions, just as you saw on the iPhone. But what you can do here is you can export the transactions to a CSV file, and there is that CSV file, so you can import that to any other application you want. Okay, so like I say, yeah, you've got drop down boxes to select different date periods. You can go in and view individual transactions here. Again, you can resend the receipts here. So pretty much everything that you want to do on the admin front. Now when I signed up for the account, I was sent the Payleven reader. That was received by me within 2 or 3 days. But the actual account, because they put you through to Payleven to set up the merchant account, took a total of about 15 days before I could take my first payment. This was partly because I signed up immediately after launch, so they were having a higher number than usual sign-up requests. But as soon as that was done without problem, just had to sign the contract and email it back to them. It was set up, and I was ready to take my first payment, and it's all gone very well. So if you have a smartphone or an iPad or one of the Android tablets, I'd certainly be looking at one of the cheaper solutions like this if you're taking lower amounts of payments and for getting your terminal rentals. Who needs it? Okay, I hope this video has helped you understand mobile credit card payments a little bit. Like I say, I will follow up in the next few weeks when I receive my Bluetooth chip and pin reader, so that you can see a Visa payment go through on a chip and pin terminal.